Hello and welcome to Dappz Live, the show where we talk about sports, laugh about sports, and if you're a Mets fan, cry about sports. I insisted to our producers today that we do not have Mets segments on this show. They said that's not allowed, Dappz. We need to cover what happened yesterday. I am joined by the illustrious, biggest card buyer in the universe, the almighty Ethan. Ethan, how was Sunday for you as a Miami Marlins and Kansas City Chiefs fan, which is stupid, by the way, and doesn't make sense?
I mean, I had a wonderful time. No one chooses the Marlins as a fun team to watch. But no, I was watching football. I got a notification that we beat the Mets per usual. It's not a surprise. That team crumbles, and we're just better than them. You know, our playoff championship is beating the Mets from making the playoffs.
Fly, Eagles, fly calls Ethan a bandwagon. I love that for us.
Thank you.
Ben V, if you're watching, it's great to see you. JV Perk as well. Guys, remember, get your comments in. We will address all of them throughout the show. DM us your questions as well. And remember to follow this page. We are live every single day, 12 p.m. Mike Favalo, Mets losing was a Christmas gift. Favalo, this is slander. You are a New Yorker. That is not a Christmas gift to you. You're a Yankees fan. That's not a gift. The Red Sox losing is a gift. Okay? I root for you against the Red Sox. Jesus Christ, these Yankees fans, I can't take them, Ethan. I don't know if you have to deal with them. I've had to deal with them my whole life.
Yeah, Yankees fans get coal for Christmas.
They should get coal for Christmas. This is absolutely ridiculous. A new era of the Giants began and ended immediately. My first overall pick, Malik Nabers, tears his ACL on a post down the sideline in the second quarter of the game. Giants defeated the Chargers 21-18, lost me a bunch of money, and looked good. But Ethan, how fucked are the Giants without Malik?
They were as fucked as they started with. Something good happens, Jaxon Dart comes in, plays well, and then they lose Neighbors. I mean, I can't name you another receiver on that team. I just think they should retire now. Nope, just get rid of the Giants.
So let's talk about the turf for a second, Ethan. Why the fuck are these guys still playing on turf at MetLife? Do you have any idea why this is going on? OBJ, who had really bad injuries himself, posted this, and it sums it up perfectly. Look at how many players have gone down at MetLife. You have Nick Bosa, 2020, tears his ACL or Achilles. Solomon Thomas, 2020. Jabril Peppers, Wan'Dale Robinson, Sterling Shepard. By the way, the last three are New York Giants players, all right? Kyle Fuller, Aaron Rodgers, potentially Malik Nabers. When does this end, Ethan?
I don't think it's potentially. I think Malik Nabers is done. I guess they're just cheaping out in New York, man. They just don't want to put good field in Gotham City. I don't know. I guess they would like to see injuries.
Well, let's get to the story of the game. Jaxon Dart, who actually impressed. 170-ish total yards, passing and rushing. Looked good against a very tough Chargers defense, Ethan. I really liked his run game, how he hiked and kind of like carved up their defense from the 10-yard line. I see so many offenses this year get to the 10, 15-yard line, and they don't know what they're doing. They can't get 6 yards. They can't get 8 yards. They can't get a first down, kick a field goal. Pathetic. Does Brian Daboll want to make love to Jaxon Dart is the question. Watch this. Like, what is Ethan? What is that, bro?
That's a grown man being happy his job has been saved.
His job, his career, his marriage potentially. Yeah. Like, he could have got divorced over this. Mm-hmm. He looked like he was going to kiss him, Ethan. Like, he genuinely looked like he looks like he's about to kiss that man.
He should have kissed him. I mean, going from Russell Wilson to that, I would make out with him too.
I mean, Brian Donut needs to calm down. Another person who needs to calm down is Adonai Mitchell, bro. Adonai Mitchell, fumble of the year. Adonai Mitchell should be sent to an El Salvadorian prison. Ethan, 70-yard touchdown pass from Danny Dimes. Fumble out of the end zone. Penalty later in the game. But let's talk about this first. Should this rule change, or do players need to be less dumb? Jonathan Taylor has done this too. Roll through the footage. Pass. Oh, excuse me. Let's get to the JT run, a 54-yard get off the bitch touchdown called back by guess who? Adonai Mitchell. So Adonai at this point fumbles into the end zone, and he also has a holding penalty called against him. And by the way, Jonathan Taylor has done this. You can obviously see Broncos players doing this. It's just such a bonehead move. There's the New York Jets player doing it as well. I believe Deshaun Jackson, there he is, did it years ago. It's just so stupid. You can do this at the back of the end zone, the middle of the end zone. This is players getting too ahead of themselves. And also, when you're like flexing and doing the whole shoulder thing, and you're down 30, it's like Chris Paul drains 3 to cut the lead to 37, right? Why? Is this the costliest game from a single person? He chopped off 2 touchdowns, Adonai, over 100 yards of offense. The over was destroyed. The Colts betters destroyed. And if you had Daniel Jones and JT, Adonai Mitchell cost you 18 fantasy points.
Yikes, man. Yeah, I mean, Adonai Mitchell just sandbagged that whole Colts team. They were going to be the first 4-0 start in a decade for them. It's really sad because a lot of this happens to receivers every time because they're just total divas. You don't see it happen from running backs as much, but it's a totally receiver move to just drop the ball before getting in the end zone.
Now, Puka Nacua, 13 for 170 and a touchdown. Is he the best receiver in the NFL, you think?
He's definitely up there, man. He's a top-tier receiver, but we've known that since his rookie year. I don't think he's number 1 yet, but he has a lot of time. What is he, only like 24 years old?
He's super young, and also, I mean, his stat line's going up and up and up. 130, there's a lot of leagues that at 150 yards, you get a bonus. So, this is an insane stat line. He's being targeted 13 to 15 times a game. Moving on to Daniel Jones, 2 picks, would have had over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. Ethan, I don't know if you saw the last drive of the game, but Danny Dimes did have a chance to make a comeback, and he threw a pick. And I believe this is where we're going to start to see the true Danny Dimes come out, the New York Giants, Danny Dimes come out, because Daniel Jones, listen, this was a fun little run he had. And I'm not saying he can't beat some bad teams. He's got to play the Texans multiple times, the Jaguars multiple times, the Titans multiple times. But the teams he beat the Dolphins, who are absolutely dog awful, Ethan. They stink. Then he beat the Broncos on a field goal that really was not legit. And then I forget who they beat last week. Dylan, if you could tell me who they beat last week, it was also not a good team. So I'm not about the Danny Dimes hype after they beat the Titans. So the Titans are obviously the worst team in the league. The Dolphins are the second worst team in the league, and they stole a game from the Broncos. They finally play a good team. They lose. I think this is going to be a recurring theme with the Colts. They can't beat good teams. Finn Blue, what up, ma'am? Let's get to a worse quarterback. Let's get to a worse quarterback than Daniel Jones, Lamar Jackson. Ethan's favorite, 1-3 for the first time in his career. The Ravens are 1-3, tied with the Browns. After shitting the bed against your Chiefs, Ethan, I'm sure you're ready to gloat. Lamar yesterday threw a pick and fumbled and barely had 200 total yards, hurt his hamstring, might be out for a couple weeks. Their bye week is in 4 weeks. Derrick Henry, 8 for 42 yards, no touchdowns, and 3 fumbles on the year. And look at this. Before we get to that, Ethan, do you want to gloat?
Yeah, this is the best 1-3 football team I've ever seen. I mean, that offense is electric, and Lamar Jackson is terrific. That defense is just so bad. And if you look at them on paper, that's a pretty good defense. Someone's got to hold the Harbaugh responsible because he's just been choking Lamar Jackson's whole career away. As a defensive coach, he should be having a better defense than this.
Well, listen, I mean, I think everybody thought that this game was going to be back-to-back scoring. Just like that fun game that everybody's ready to watch, Sunday night or Monday Night Football. And finally, listen, I'm a big Mahomes guy, Ethan. I know that we joke on this show, but I've always rooted for Mahomes, rooted for them against the Eagles last year in the Super Bowl, rooting for him to smash all of Tom Brady's records because I hate Tom Brady. But the thing about this game is that I liked was Patrick Mahomes threw for 4 touchdowns. Ethan, the last time Patrick Mahomes threw for 4 touchdowns was November of 2023, which is kind of insane because the way Mahomes came into the league, dominating 50 touchdowns in his first couple years, per season. This guy was just scoring touchdown after touchdown. And the last 18 months, the last season and a half, the way Mahomes has been winning has been a little bit more grinding out games, not really scoring, always keeping his team in it, and then putting together a field goal at the end to win the game. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, ever since Bieniemy left, it's been a really conservative team. They've been running the ball a lot, depending on the defense, and Mahomes hasn't been airing it out because also he hasn't had the weapons to air it out. I mean, he hasn't had an elite receiver on his team since Tyreek Hill left and Rashee Rice got suspended. So, I mean, hopefully when Rashee Rice comes back, we're going to see these 4 touchdown games, maybe Xavier Worthy. But I'm not worried because Patrick doesn't care about that. Patrick cares about the dub. He doesn't care about the 4 touchdowns.
He doesn't care about that. And also, Xavier Worthy did come back this week, and you saw how much more electric the offense was when just Worthy came back. So imagine when Rashee Rice comes back. Finn Blue says Mahomes right now is a top 4 QB in the league, and I would argue that it's probably Josh Allen, Mahomes right now as far as statistics go. Mahomes is crushing it. And I think we're going to move over to Ashton Jeanty, the guy I've been talking so much trash about, how he was an 8th-round pick in fantasy. And Ashton Jeanty, I think he's arrived, Ethan. I mean, look at this run. Finally, by the way, you know what? This is what I hate about NFL coaches, too. They tried to tell Ashton Jeanty, you can't have your signature stance that you've had in college. Don't do that. Play our system. How about shut the fuck up? And everything that Ashton Jeanty did in college that worked so well, why don't you let him do it again? Why don't you let him do it again? And by the way, this was the first game that he stood up and did his signature stance where he just stands. And what happens? He explodes. 21 for 140 yards, touchdown, 2 touchdowns in the air, 3 touchdowns total. Is Ashton Jeanty for real, Ethan?
Yeah, the whole standing up chain reminds me of a lot of the Markelle Fultz move when they brought him into the league and they tried to change his shot and just ruined his whole career. You can't fix something that's been working for so long for someone. I still don't think Genty's that great. I feel like they played a bad team and his usage is through the roof. Fantasy experts have been bragging that Genty's been terrible, but if you look at the numbers, if he gets a little more efficient, he'll be a top 5 running back at the end of the year. This is a bad team. He played against a bad defense. You're going to see probably next week if they play a good team, he's going to be terrible again. But yeah, there will be games where Jeanty will just totally go off.
Well, I have to agree, and the Raiders should have won the game. If not for the 400th blocked field goal of this season. I don't know if you saw the last play of the game, Ethan, but another blocked field goal. And the Bears are 2-2 now, which is interesting. Whoever won this game would have been 2-2. And the reverse of this happened last year, Ethan. I don't know if you remember. The Commanders were losing to the Bears, and Stevenson, their cornerback, did the whole to the crowd with 5 seconds left. Hail Mary. There was a tip ball. Jaden Daniels throws a touchdown to beat the Bears at the last second. So now you're getting to watch the Bears actually win a game in the final seconds. Reverse. Got to be a little bit happy for Ben Johnson and Caleb. Caleb looks awesome, by the way. Caleb looks awesome. Really good. Going back to the Raiders. If the Raiders want to win, though, you got to give the ball to Jeanty. We're going to move to the Jags and the Niners. Boring. The only thing that was cool was Robert Saleh and Liam Cohen got into it post-game as they're walking off the field. So this was evidently a comment from Saleh. He basically said that Liam Cohen has been stealing signals legally. I don't know what that means, how you steal signals legally. And then Cohen, as they were walking off after the win, basically said, Saleh, keep my name out of your mouth. I don't think the Jaguars are good. I think they're frauds. I don't think they're going to win too many games. A better game that we watched, though, Ethan, last night. Cowboys-Packers. Holy moly, the scoring. By the way, this game started off 13-2. Cowboys couldn't score in the first quarter. Could barely score in the first half. Finally scored before the end of the first half, and then they both go for 40 points. Micah's return to Dallas ends in a tie. Boring. But the whole game was so much fun to watch. The Packers have been coached like pussies all year. I mean, what do you think about the Packers, Ethan? Have you changed your sentiment? Because a lot of people in this room and in the sports media space had the Packers as Super Bowl contenders on back-to-back weeks. They've tied against the Cowboys and lost to the Browns. Do you still believe a team that can tie against the Cowboys and lose to the Browns can win a Super Bowl?
Yeah, I totally believe they still can because they're still figuring it out. They've only had Parsons for 4 weeks on that team. I mean, when they play against a good offensive line that holds them up, their secondary is not very talented, so they get exposed. Their whole goal is if they're not getting pressure on defense, they just need the offense to bail them out. And the offense dropped 40 points. I mean, so did the Cowboys. So It's kind of hard to say. Also, I want to say Dak Prescott, he's shutting people up. He looks elite. I'm so tired of the Dak Prescott shame. Like, oh, Dak's ruining the Cowboys. No, bro, the Cowboys are ruining the Cowboys.
The Cowboys are ruining the Cowboys. Dak has been elite. By the way, the amount of drop balls from elite receivers on the Cowboys. Pickens dropped a pass last night. That was just absurd. And by the way, Pickens made an incredible catch down the sideline. That was absolutely ridiculous. But going back to week 1, CeeDee Lamb had 3 insane drops that potentially could have won the Cowboys the game. Dak was putting it right on the money. I don't get it. It's a shame to see. Hopefully Dak continues this elite status and the Cowboys actually win a couple games. But the Packers, if they were just coached a little bit more aggressively, they might win some more games. They're absolute pussies. Let's get on to another group of pussies, Ethan. The Europeans. The U.S. once again lost to the filthy Europeans in the Ryder Cup, who retained the cup at Bethpage Black on my hometown of Long Island. Ethan, is the Ryder Cup dumb?
Yeah, the whole sport of golf is dumb, and so are those European guys crying about everything. They should just stay in Europe next time. I don't want them over here in the States. They're just a bunch of bitches, and I don't want to hear them complain about the States. If you don't like it, don't come here.
Totally.
Stay over there.
That's what I was going to say. My problem with the Ryder Cup is that it tries to bring this college football atmosphere to golf, and it's golf. Clearly, it doesn't work because the athletes don't want it. Rory McIlroy has been bitching every day for 4 straight days. Ethan, did the Long Islanders take it too far? We've got Rory's wife getting pelted with a drink.
Bro, pelt her harder. Wait, what are we talking about? I'm pretty sure last week, the backup quarterback for the Steelers got jumped in Ireland before the game. I mean, they're really well behaved. Bro, it's sports, bro. If this was the World Cup, there'd be fights left and right. I just think the Europeans like to bitch and complain because that's what we get from their sports culture. Bitching and complaining.
Yeah, and you got to see this. Rory, what he was bitching about is just ridiculous. Listen, they were talking in his backswing while he was setting up for a number of shots, but check this out. All right, we'll get back to that. Ethan, do you think that my Long Islanders had a right to be screaming in Rory's backswing while he's about to shoot? I'm curious.
Dude, these are the same people in New York that just on the side of the road will call your mama a bitch, These are just the most degenerate people in the world. So, yeah, I mean, they have the right. You come to New York, you're going to get heckled. It's part of New York. I don't get it because they're acting like in Europe this doesn't happen. Like, this happens everywhere. Like, this is sports. This is natural. And also, golf's not even a real sport to begin with, so let me get into that.
Cookie Momster 03 says, why are we giving half for injured players? Just give 0. Cookie, please elaborate. Mommy says, hashtag FIP. Hi, misunderstood. It's good to see you. And 96 Michael says, golf is not this serious, guys. Well, he's got a point about that.
Good job.
All right, moving on to the single most pathetic story of the day and the single most pathetic franchise in the history of Major League Baseball. My New York Mets, the Mets have been eliminated from the 2025 postseason by none other than a certain co-host team, the Miami Marlins. Ethan, I'm going to let you gloat, and then I'm going to go insane.
Dude, I would have bet my life on this. I mean, the Mets fumbling the bag against the Marlins is what we're all known for. And also, my favorite part about beating the Mets is watching Pete Alonso go, yeah, I'm out of here, right after the game. He didn't even last an hour before he left that team. It was great to watch that team fumble. A payroll that they have one player on the team making more than our entire team, and we still spanked that ass. I loved it.
It's actually gross because I don't even think you as a Marlins fan can name 3 Marlins players. That's how bad the Marlins are.
20.
And it's absolutely disgusting that the Mets, all they had to do to make the playoffs was win 2 out of 3 games against the low-level Marlins. 2 of 3. That's all they had to do. They controlled their own destiny. The Reds, by the way, lost to the Brewers yesterday. The Reds lost. So we tied the Reds. And by the way, 3 weeks ago, we lost the series to the Reds. So had we won that series, we wouldn't even be in this position. The Mets had the best record in baseball, 45-24, 5.5 game lead in the NL East. on a 6-game win streak, lowest ERA in MLB, 4th highest OPS in MLB on June 12th.
Hey, I got an idea. Since you're paying Juan so much, why don't you send him over to the Yankees, let him finish out his career over there, let him walk across the bridge and go play for a team that's going to be in the playoffs. That guy turned down $10 million less to just sit out all summer.
Well, listen, I mean, unfortunately, the Yankees might be in the exact position the Mets are in 2 weeks because they are notorious choke artists and have no idea what they're doing. Mets spent $1.04 billion in the 2025 offseason. I'll tell you something, though. Going into the Mets season, there was a lot of optimistic Mets fans. When we got Soto, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to act like I wasn't happy. Great. I'm so happy for Soto. But when we got him, I wasn't like, wow, we're a World Series contender right now because our pitching staff was an absolute joke. We made no moves to get an ace. All right? Senga is not an ace. He's a 3rd starting pitcher. And by the way, he got optioned down to AAA Syracuse a month ago, proving my point even more. Somehow, some way, the Mets in the first 60 days of baseball put together the best ERA ever in they had the best ERA in baseball with ragamuffin, piece together and sew them together rotation. It was an absolute joke. All we had was the best closer in baseball. Every other reliever we had was an absolute joke. At the trade deadline, we made the worst moves ever. And by the way, we traded for 2 relievers, Ryan Helsley, who needs to be sent to an El Salvadorian prison with whoever else we were talking about earlier on this show. Holy shit, Adonai Mitchell and Helsley should be destined to live together. This guy has Hell's Bells as his walkout music, and the fact that they would play that for this guy is a joke. He came out, he lets up 3 runs in the 8th inning every single time. I hate that guy so much. Worst moves ever by a GM. The GM needs to get fired. I'm pretty sure Mendoza needs to get fired too. This is a absolute colossal, the largest collapse. The Mets had a similar collapse in 2007. We had a 7.5 game lead on the Phillies with 15 games left. And we lost that lead and missed the playoffs. The Phillies went on to win the World Series the following year. They're saying that this is worse than that. I don't know if I agree with that because our pitching staff was so fucking garbage that, listen, Pete Alonso, 8 minutes after the game, announced that he was entering free agency. Literally, I looked at my phone and it said 8 minutes ago, Pete Alonso announced that he's entering free agency. And by the way, he entered free agency last year, so this doesn't mean he's off the team. But the only players I think the Mets need to keep are Edwin Diaz, their closer, Francisco Lindor, and Juan Soto. And they need to get rid of every other player, get rid of the manager, get rid of the GM. I can GM the team better than this. I swear to you, Ethan, with no experience and having Dappz Live with 38 viewers, I can manage the New York Mets better than they're being managed. I swear to you.
Here's my issue, though. 2 years ago, you guys brought in Verlander and Scherzer and had a great pitching staff, then dumped them all off the deadline and gave up on that team. Now you bring in all these offensive players, and you're like, oh, I have no pitching. The best Mets are the Mets with nobody on it. Like that last year Mets, where it was pretty shitty, you guys made the playoffs. You guys will always underperform or overperform, but you'll never do as par as what you should be doing.
You are 100% right. When the Mets are supposed to win, they don't. When the Mets aren't supposed to win, they do. And it's a shame because, I mean, if we had done what we were supposed to do, and which was sign 2 elite starting pitchers, and we signed 0, and we signed a bunch of horrible pitchers, by the way. Absolute joke. We have this kid, McLean, who came up, who looked like the nastiest pitcher in baseball, and I was excited. Oh, maybe this kid can be he can spin the ball against the Dodgers and get 1 win. We're not going to get to see that. Now the Reds are going to play the Dodgers. Nobody wants to watch the Reds play the Dodgers, by the way. There's not one person in this country outside of Ohio who wants to watch the Reds play the Dodgers in the game of baseball. It's an absolute joke. Guys, we are live every single day. You are watching Dappz Live, 12 p.m. Pacific time. Please join us tomorrow. Again, please put your comments in. Shane Webb says, go Reds. Shane, listen, like I said, I bet are you in Ohio, Shane? Dappz Live, 12 p.m. every single day, guys. General Managers is our fantasy show every single Tuesday. Please check out our fantasy show. We are, again, live streaming every single day at 12 p.m. watching Dappz Live. If you want to get some gambling in, I hit a 10-leg parlay, guys. 10-leg parlay. Jay, what's up? What's up, Shane? Shane, you're in Kentucky? Why are you rooting for the Reds in Kentucky? Live streaming 4 p.m. today to go over bets. I had a 10-leg parlay. turned $1,000 into 12. If you want me to make you money tonight, join us at 4 p.m. That's the cookbook. Also, Thursdays, the cookbook. Before Thursday Night Football, we'll cook up another little parlay. We got some spider legs coming in Mondays and Thursdays. Guys, we will see you tomorrow. That's Ethan. I'm Dappz. Enjoy the show. You are watching Dappz Live.